Hello, hello. Welcome to Off with the Races.
Off to the races?
To the races.
Yeah.
With the races.
Yeah.
Off to the races.
We don't even know the name of our own show.
No, we do. Let's tell everyone, I guess, a little bit about our week. We've had a little bit busy week.
Yeah, it's been a little bit busy. Not really too much on my end. You're always a lot busier than I am because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are my off days generally, and so I'm kind of after doing all the shifts that I do on the weekend, it takes me a little time to kind of get rested up a little bit. But
It's been an exciting week for us though with our kids. Do you forget we just had 4 dogs in our house?
Oh well, that seems like every week. So I don't know. Yeah, we had 4 dogs. Actually, we had 5 dogs for a little while in the house because we were dog sitting, and then went down to 4, and now we're back to 2. So hopefully they will behave themselves today.
Yes, hopefully we'll see. Exciting light in our life. Our children are all going through big life changes. Our oldest is in the Philippines right now, going through some exercises with the Marines. He, of course, is stationed in Hawaii, and his soon-to-be wife had a big weekend in Nashville, actually, from Hawaii. Yeah, for her bachelorette party. Looks like they had a lot of fun. But the wedding is in less than a month. Can you believe that?
I know. It went really fast.
Less than a month. And Kelsey and Matthew will be married. Of course, Alexandria, the reason we had all of the dogs is Alexandria and Bryson are buying a home. And so they had a home inspection. When they were showing their house, it only took 2 days to sell their house. As they were showing it, the dogs lived with us. So they didn't have to keep sweeping and swearing all dog owners out there knowing about. And then they did fun. We love Roxy and Charlie. We love them a lot. And then, of course, this past weekend, it was a big day for Christopher. He bought his first vehicle, bought a big white Jeep. It is great. Bill was able to ride in it when we took the trade-in.
I got the honor.
Yes, the honor
of riding in the shotgun.
Yes. So it was a great car. So it has been a busy week for at least our children. And us supporting them.
Yeah, we do what we can.
Right.
They do an awful lot of the heavy lifting. We're just kind of around in case we can help a little bit.
Right. Now, Will, your son, basically, he had a doctor visit this week. We haven't heard back yet how that went. And we've been praying for him with his foot.
He had a foot injury. They were, and I need to get caught up on that, but he did have some surgery. So we send our best to Will and my extended family, as I like to say. And so they're all doing pretty well, but Will unfortunately had an accident, and as far as he dropped something on his foot, which I've probably done 1,000 times, but not like him.
Not like that. Yeah. Not like that for sure.
He was at work, and it just.
Hi, William and Janice and Randy. Thanks for hopping on. We appreciate your comments and your likes, of course. So do that, interact with us, and then also subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you will find out mostly about the broadcasts. So do subscribe to Bill and Kim Race, our YouTube channel, so that you can see more of the episodes of Off to the Races. But today, I'm super excited because it's one of your old friends.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Our longtime friends. We're not going to say old.
Well,
we're not old.
Well, yeah. Well, Patrick would never want me. Pat would never want me to, give my age away or anything. But anyway, we have Pat Rose. He's a former professional wrestler, and when I got into town, I don't know exactly when, but I found out Pat Rose lived in the area, and I knew Pat Rose from like the 1980s because he was on TBS wrestling.
A huge fan.
I was a big fan because he wrestled everyone. I mean, he was in he wrestled the champions. He was really into it, and he went to different areas like wrestlers do. He's got a lot of great stories, and so he's been kind enough to share some of that with me. and it's a fascinating business, and he's
so we're excited he's going to join us today, and we have a extra treat with Pat will be his son Camden. So let's just bring them on.
All right, let's see if we can get them.
Let's see if we can get you guys. There you are.
Hey Bill, hey Kim, how y'all doing?
Doing good. Doing
Great.
How you, Camden?
All right, y'all doing all right?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good, I think.
Yeah, we're doing great. So introduce yourselves. I mean, I know Bill just kind of gave you his quick synopsis, or not so quick.
Pat's got a lot of things though since wrestling. I mean, that's he still keeps in touch, but he's got a lot of entrepreneurial stuff.
Right. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, Pat and Camden.
My name's Camden Smith from Trenton, Georgia. I'm a country music singer, senior in high school, 18 years old. So that's pretty much all there is to know about me, man. So, yeah.
I don't know about that. I know that you are. I know that this has been very exciting for you and your dad, as far as, and he's been kind of keeping me, up to date with step by step for you to then get to the live events even, I mean, I remember when he was just telling me, showing me that you were playing guitar, and then all of a sudden, it seems like just yesterday, but now you're able to perform, and that's a very exciting thing. I mean, your dad knows about performing and being in front of cameras and all this, and so does Kim and I. So how do you feel about that when that first started?
It's been a fun ride, and it's going to continue to be fun, but it's really special to me. I take a lot of pride in it, man. I told him the other day, I was like, my buddies' dads and my buddies and their dads bond by like passing baseball out in the yard. Me and him bond by, talking about how we can work a crowd or being on the road or, just doing something. So it's pretty cool to have, wrestling and music. The business aspect of it's a lot different, but it's also the same. So I think we bonded over that, which is really special. What
about you, Crash? I like to call him Crash. He once went back.
I love that, man. Pat Crash Rose. I love
Pat Crash Rose. And
man, so the funnest part.
I'm sorry, Pat. I just said I know you're very proud.
Like crying talking about that part, but what the funnest part is, Bill, is Camden's paying his dues. He's paid his dues for about 3 or 4 years now driving, and we went one time to Prattville, Alabama, down by Montgomery, and as we went early enough to go by Hank Williams' gravesite. So we got to visit that. We went to the Hank Williams Museum. He's played at the Georgiana Opera House, which is coming up, the Hank Fest.
Yeah, June 3rd and 4th. June 2nd to the 5th, pretty much, but we'll be there the 3rd and the 4th.
And he's playing at the Georgiana Opera House, hanking at the Opera House. But it's fun doing all this traveling and stopping here and looking at this and getting off on the side of the interstate on I-65, and me and Camden there with a selfie with the I-65 sign. I mean, a lot of history there, man. A lot of history up and down that road.
Right.
And it's fun just showing him that and showing him where to stop and having fun on the road and talking and getting in at 4 o'clock in the morning. We love it, man. And it's a lot of fun for me. He's keeping me young.
Well, I'll tell you that just what you've been explaining just now, I can see why Camden says that the two industries that you both have been in are very much alike. Traveling's a big deal in the wrestling business, that's for sure. Or it used to be so much.
Billy, let me make a point that is very special for Camden and myself. I've wrestled everywhere. And to me, it don't matter if somebody don't believe what I've done. I know I've done it. Mm-hmm. But my point is, every time I've wrestled at the Superdome, and from Trenton, Georgia, Pat Rose, every time I wrestled at the Omni in Atlanta, which is tore down now. From Trenton, Georgia, Pat Rose. Every time Camden is announced or introduced from Trenton, Georgia, Camden Smith. We take pride in that, man. We take pride in our hometown, home of the Forrester sisters. Who else, man?
Norman Blake and a lot of other people, man. So, yeah.
We take pride in that, Bill.
That's great.
And you should.
Yeah, for sure.
We've got a great area here. So what keeps you guys busy these days? Both of you. Either one of you can start.
Shows, definitely. And just school. But on the weekday I go to school. On the weekends we're just grinding out either on the road or playing shows. Like after this I'm going to town and I'm playing a show tonight. So it's we're definitely busy, just grinding, and I hope we get busier. I love it. I don't like sitting at home and and just doing normal teenager things, man. I want to be on the road and playing music. So I'm just trying to stay as busy as possible. So, yeah.
Matt, how about you?
Man, I don't know how to say this, but Camden's 18. I'm starting to back out a little bit and let him have it. And I'm going to still go to shows and this and that, but I try to let him, have his space. And he's a good businessman. He knows how to talk. He knows how to talk to adults. At 17 years old or 19, when I started wrestling, I was scared to death of that microphone. And I remember one time at TV 12, I had to go out. Rocky Brewer was getting beat up by Tojo and Duke Myers. And Nick Goulas sent me out. He said, "Hey, Pat, go to Harry Thornton and ask him, can you help him? Can you help Rocky in the ring?" So here I come walking out, and Harry said, "Hey, this is Pat Rose." And I said, "Harry, do you mind if I go help Rocky?" And he said, "Yeah, go ahead, son." And I jumped through the ropes, the whole deal, beat him up, and I went to stomp Duke Myers as he was doing the honors. You know what I'm talking about, Bill?
Yes.
And man, back downstairs, he come at me and he said, "Man, what are you doing?" I said, I'm sorry. But it was the funniest thing, man. It was the funniest thing.
That's funny. Well, in the comments, Robert Kilgore, do you remember that name?
I do.
He says he used to wrestle with you.
Oh, where did he wrestle at?
Where'd you wrestle, Robert? Go ahead and put it in the comments.
Yeah, we're gonna root it out here for you.
Got you. Did you wear a mask? What'd you do?
I was going to, I came within an eyelash of saying, bring the number 2 mask. But because a lot of people, they know that wrestling too. And you were partners with him.
I was, man. Oh my God. Childhood hero.
Yeah.
Childhood hero.
Yeah.
Wrestling too. When I wrestled at Dade County, and I tell this story a lot. When I wrestled in Dade County, we'd go to the field house. We would turn up the heat, and everybody had to make weight. And I wrestled 155, and I had 5 guys that I had to beat to get my starting spot. And I kicked their butt every week. And I had on my gym bag, on the bottom of it, you could turn it over and you could see it, right? I had a picture of Mr. Wrestling 2.
Yeah.
And man, through wrestle-offs, they called them wrestle-offs, that would psychologically help me to beat the crap out of 5 different guys for my spot. And man, and I got to tag with him, got to travel down the road with him. What was weird is 20 or 30 miles out of the town we were going to, you had to put on the hood. And and he would say, "Don't look at anybody." So you're sitting there dead ahead. You got cars over here, but you can't look. You want to look and show them your mask, but you can't because we had to kayfabe. And wrestling too was a stickler on that. He would wear his mask everywhere.
That's right.
And I got to go out and meet Olivia, who Olivia is his beautiful wife that passed away, and he missed her. She used to make the robes for Ric Flair, for Greg Valentine, the whole deal. And I got to know her, and she was the most beautiful, sweetest person that you could ever meet, man. She was something else.
Yeah.
She was.
I remember now that she was the robe maker. She was famous for that.
Yeah, Olivia was. Sure was, man.
So Robert's commented in, it was a WDEF Channel 61, Captain Hook, Terry Jerry McCoy.
Do you know about
Channel 12.
Hook, Bill?
Channel 12, yeah. Or is it, well, he said 61 was WDEF.
Channel 61 had a studio, and they had wrestling over there. And who Captain Hook was Terry Gordy's uncle.
Okay.
He trained Terry Gordy to wrestle, and Captain Hook was over. The reason he was called Captain Hook, he had like his arm was cut off from maybe here or there, but he wore a hook.
Oh wow!
Oh, it was something, man. He was a special guy around Chattanooga.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Well, I want to just put out one more thing about that, because I don't want to, Camden's heard these stories over and over and over. But no, I'm just kidding. But here's the deal. Mr. Wrestling #2 was invited to Jimmy Carter's inaugural, because Jimmy Carter was from Georgia. Mr. Wrestling 2 was a big, but Mr. Wrestling said he couldn't go because they were going to have him without his mask for security reasons.
Oh.
So instead of going to the inaugural, he had to pass. But Jimmy Carter was a big wrestling fan, apparently.
Oh, wow.
He knew who Mr. Wrestling 2 was.
And so was Lillian. Lillian loved to.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, we had a little a brief. Tell me again who that you had said about Jimmy Carter and another person.
Oh, Lillian, Jimmy's mama, loved wrestling too.
Oh, yeah. Of course, Miss Lillian.
Yeah.
And that's probably where it came from. He probably was watching with her when he was growing up.
I used to watch wrestling with my dad growing up.
How many times have you heard that, Pat?
Now, where did you watch it at, Kim?
I was a northerner. I was watching from up in New York. It's funny because Bill and I have shared, kind of wrestling stories a little bit, but I actually had a famous dive. I was a swimmer and I competed in dives, but when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, I came up with the Dusty Rhodes dive, because I would dive off of the diving board just like he would dive onto people. He would get up on a corner and he would shake his rear end and then jump. And so before I would dive, when I was 4, 5, 6 years old, I would get up on the high dive, shake my rear end just like he did, and then take a dive into the water.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Dusty Rhodes was a nationwide guy, but I'm sure that she watched a lot of WWF at that point, maybe in WWF.
Yeah.
Man, every time I would see Dusty Rhodes down at WCW or whatever, and he was my first match when I went to Georgia Championship when Nick closed down here, and he sent me and Bobby Eaton to Georgia Championship. We talked fishing. He loved to fish, man. And I would tell him story. Yeah, but Dusty, I caught a 5-pound smallmouth that Westboro. And he'd say, "No, you didn't. You didn't catch no 5. Come here, Dusty." He told me. And he'd just make a big deal out of it. It was funny, man. It was funny. Yeah. He never believed me.
This is a big week for the Tennessee Valley. We are remembering tomorrow is actually the anniversary of the 2011 tornadoes that came through our area. They hit down in Trenton and through Ringgold, into Chattanooga, and even up to Cleveland. I was working with the Salvation Army at the time and did a lot of relief efforts. and you were with the station and had come home and actually tried to go see what everybody was talking about at the Ringgold exit.
Yeah, well, that was late. That was in the evening. You know, it was Pat. You might remember. You know, we had some in the morning. And then we had some like through the middle of the day, and then we had one more round that night, and that was the one that got Alabama Highway and all that, and so that was just, you know, as Facebook was beginning, and we were starting to see messages about, you know, the damage on Alabama Highway, and I was like, oh, they're exaggerating that, you know, but I'll just go down there and see, because I lived pretty close, and so I went down there, and I knew it was trouble because there was nothing but police, and so I ended up at the CVS looking down Alabama Highway. You know, there were still people, they were saying were trapped in the restaurants and all that. But, you know, my interest came with that, obviously. And Pat and Camden, I want you to know that in the broadcast business around here, you know, we didn't really have tornado outbreaks that often. Mm-hmm. This was a game changer for the broadcast industry, and also the way we cover weather. And that is, we had decided, you know, we made it much more a priority, and we made it much more, you know, people were scared. People were, you know, just very nervous from then on, you know. And so we ended up doing a weather radio event down at the Ringgold Walgreens at the time. And we had this big turnout. People were telling their stories, and it was, you know, almost a relief for them somewhat. So we carried that on, and we're going to be doing that tomorrow. But I know that Camden remembers, and Pat and your family, and it was a bit of a trauma for you guys.
Let me start this out by saying, you know, back in the old days, the old timers said, if a tornado ever gets in the valley here, it ain't getting out. It's just going, you know, back and forth. Let me tell you something. When a tornado comes, if it wants to go over Lookout Mountain, it's going to go over Lookout Mountain. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
And so that was what do you call it? Debunked. So yeah, they'll get over the mountain.
Right. They had the strength to do that. So in other words, you experienced in your family some of this trauma, and even Camden. So I know Camden is, but a long time ago. I'm not sure how. So you're 18 now. So what were you then? I had to do the math.
Yeah, 8? Like what? 8, I reckon.
That's not.
No, like 7, 6.
Yeah, very young. Very young.
I was young. Yeah.
Yeah. And you still have a stump in your yard. Is that right, Pat?
Yeah, we got it in the living room.
Oh, it's in the living room. That's right. So this is a part of the tree was this a tree that was in your yard?
Yes, it was a cedar tree.
Yeah, one of them.
Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of stories, but you know, here's what I wanted to say about Camden's family. They came to me, Pat texted me and told me that, you know, there, you know, a lot of nervousness here. And he started, you know, texting, asking, what about these storms coming in tomorrow or whatever? He wanted to be prepared. And that's how everybody started getting. And the nice thing about it was, you know, he wanted to also, you know, ease Camden's years a little bit. And he thought, maybe it's a good idea we go to see you and you can show him around at the television station and show him how you do things. Well, we did that. You know, Camden was, you know, very, you know, just such a sweetheart and everything. And so, you know, they, I think, got something out of that. Right. And I feel very blessed that you chose me for that. And then as the years went on, I would get fewer texts from Pat. You know, you could tell that
he moved on to Weatherman. No, I'm just kidding.
The anxiety was easing a little
right.
bit. But
I mean, it was anxious. I mean, after those storms, there were a lot of folks who were anxious.
Yeah.
And anytime we would go under even a thunderstorm watch, folks were anxious, and still even today, if we get into any warnings, people are. I mean, they should take caution. Mm-hmm. But I think we've come a long way because of the weather radios. You're going to be out tomorrow at some of the Elder Ace Hardwares. Channel 9 is going to be doing the weather radio. What I thought was great is this last storm, Pat, we had about, I guess, a month ago. It came in overnight, and because of that, the station knew that Bill had to work real early in the morning. So David and Ryan took the kind of into the night shift so that Bill could sleep a little bit before he needed to get in there at 4 and 5 in the morning. And sure enough, about 2 o'clock, the weather radio went off. We were under a tornado warning in the viewing area, and he got to experience like we get to experience it with the weather radio going off, and then you turn on the television to see what's going on. And so,
and I said, I got to text Pat Rose.
Hey, there's no, let me tell you something. When bad weather's coming in, I got my weather app, and I'm the watchman. I'm the watchman. Camden, go to bed. I'm the watchman.
Yes.
Something happens, Camden, get your shoes on. But he always goes to bed when it's storms coming in and possible tornadoes. Everybody has to have their shoes on. So we got our shoes on ready to go and underwear because we don't want to get caught out naked.
Exactly.
Right. I hear you.
We're ready to go. If it happens, we're gone. Like the last one that come through, Camden, we got up and everybody was going to Circle K. So, that's just where we go.
So we're in a different place than we went to the first tornado, right? So we moved between the 12.
Right.
So we're sitting here, and I'm awake anyway. I'm a night owl, right? Okay. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, the storm's getting kind of bad. And I don't mean to make a lot of anything like this, but at this point, grateful to that God delivered me from that, but I don't fear storms anymore. But so I packed up my guitar and I was like, all right, man. I told Dad, I said, if we hear these sirens, man, we're dipping. I don't know where we're going, we're leaving. And sure as crap, man, we heard the sirens and we were like, all right, let's go. And Dad wanted to drive, and it was pretty rough. And so to pull up to Circle K, that's just where we happen to be. And we just kind of stood there for a little bit, and all was good. Nothing was going on, and thankfully on our end. So it was kind of comical, but for real, no. It's luckily that we were cool and safe, and nobody was hurt.
Yeah.
Right. Well, before we go, I want folks to be able to hear you, Camden, and be able to find you. How can folks learn more about your music, hear your music, and support you? Where can they go to see you?
So on social media, you can follow me at Camden Smith Music. Right down here, you can look how to spell my name. Camden Smith Music on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can look us up on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever. Literally, if it has a search bar, you can look up our music. Just type in my name, type in Camden Smith Music, and and like I said, if y'all are in Chattanooga, if any of the viewers are in Chattanooga tonight, I'll be in at Cherry Street Tavern with Mr. Joshua Ray Walker from Texas. So, yeah.
Well, that sounds great. We definitely want people to check you out. And, man, I'll tell you what, as your dad knows, like it used to be, like it is now, really. But the music business, that's a rough one, I mean, there's so many people out there. And I think that you got something special for yourself here. So I really wish you well on that.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's definitely different, growing up. Like I was telling somebody the other day, like the first time I was in a bar, or I was 11 the first time I was in a 21 up establishment, and that's just how I've grown up. And you grow up differently than a normal kid, but we're lucky and blessed to have to be privileged enough to be able to learn in an environment like that, because I think that's important that kids not really hang out at bars and stuff, but you learn a lot, and you learn how to carry yourself in public and conduct yourself in certain situations and your emotions and whatnot. So yeah,
I'm sure your dad's taught you a lot for sure.
Yep.
With the entertainment business.
Yeah, there's a lot to be learned there, that's for sure. But I'm glad that he's with you on that.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today on Off to the Races. It's been a lot of fun. I learned a lot about.
And Pat, can you give us something that you still got some shows going on, right?
Oh, got Set the Hook with Pat Rose. Anchor.fm/Set the Hook with Pat Rose is our podcast. It's distributed on all podcast platforms, 35 radio stations across the country, man. And we're just entering into our 15th year.
Wow.
15th year of Set the Hook this past January. So,
I remember.
Hey, if you guys would like us on Facebook, YouTube, the whole deal, social media.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, guys, for joining us. We so appreciate it.
Billy, we love you, and Kim, thank you for having us on, guys.
All right.
Absolutely.
We love you too. Thank you.
We'll have to see you at one of Camden's concerts soon.
Heck yeah.
All right, baby. We'll talk to you later.
All righty.
Thanks so much for joining us with Off to the Races. If you have an idea of someone you'd like to hear or have us interview, just drop us a line on any of our social media channels. We'd love to help you out and get you to more information about one of your favorites. But thanks so much for joining in.
All right. Have a great day. And remember, if you need a weather radio, tomorrow's a good day. Channel 9 will be at Ooltewah and at Ringgold Elder Ace Hardwares. And we'll be there most of the daytime hours. In fact, the entire day out.
And you'll program them for them.
We'll program that. And if you buy one at the Ace Hardware, you get the batteries thrown in for free. And
$5 goes to the Forgotten Job Fund. Yeah. So you can't go wrong.
So anyway, we want you to come on out and just share. And, even if you just want to say hi, that'd be great too.
Thanks so much. Have a great week.
Take care.